And it's Ken Kraetzer for CaMMVetsMedia, another edition of our Iona University Gaels basketball report. I'm going to get used to saying Iona University pretty soon. And our Kevin Hamilton pregame show. Gaels have a big game hosting St. Louis, the Billikens, in at Hynes Center. Kevin, good to see you. How you doing today?
Everything is great, Ken. Good to see you.
That's super. Now, Gaels had a good weekend with wins Friday night over Niagara and then Sunday over Canisius. Both dominating games. Both games were really decided by runs that Iona took in the late in the first half of both games to go out to big first half leads and then hold on. What did you see in those two wins by Iona over the weekend?
Well, I saw a few things. On the very positive side for Iona, they came in with the right kind of energy, the right kind of focus. It would have been very easy for them to look forward to tonight's game and really sleep on two MAC competitors, but they didn't do that. They used it as a chance to work on things that they hope to be able to use tonight. Disappointed, though, a little bit that both Niagara and Canisius didn't rise to the occasion. Okay, I think both teams are better than they played against Iona, and I wouldn't be surprised if when Iona takes a trip up north, if you see some different types of contests.
Yeah. It's interesting, maybe a bit intimidating. I asked Coach Witherspoon of Canisius about it after the game, about when Iona starts two players that are better than 6'10", and Nelly Jr. Joseph at the 5, and then Osborne Shima started for Quinn Zaleski at the 4, who's 7 foot tall, and that's a lot of size to throw at an opposition. How'd you see that working in the two games?
Well, I think Rick is really playing with what the future looks like and is experimenting to see how things go until Quinn gets back. But what's really impressive is certainly Shima stepped up and has played very well for the Gaels, and that's a big plus, no matter whether he starts or comes off the bench. And then Nelly, last game rose to the occasion a little bit, got the ball a little bit more, and just played with the kind of energy that had been slightly lacking a little bit with him. But nevertheless, it's intriguing. I liked it, and both of them shot a 3, so that was very amusing to me. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, now the two guards really played well, shot the ball very well. Dennis Jenkins on Friday night had the big 31-point game. And then Walter Clayton had 21 on Sunday, but he really wasn't needed in the second half. So most of those points all helped Iona get to a solid lead in the first half. How do you see that blending together of those two high potential scoring players?
Well, I think it's blending very well. There's nothing wrong with having two guys that can score in the backcourt. If Jenkins wasn't creating assists for others, it could be a problem, but he's doing a good job blending others in while he has to score. And what's most impressive is Jenkins really has a good understanding of when to score. He helps take Iona on runs that really put them in good situations. And then Walter Clayton Jr., I really like his game because he leaves it all out there. And he's the type of player that, although he's been fouling quite a bit, still it's the kind of fouls that you appreciate from your physical backcourt mate. So I think it's blending well, and I think it'll get better as the year goes on.
And Barrick John Louis been scoring more. He's up to almost 12 points a game and a couple of nice drives to the hoop, and more aggressive on offense, as well as being a very good defensive player. How do you see Barrick John Louis' game going this year?
I'm thrilled for him. He's taken on the mantra of being a complete player. It was one thing to be the best defender on the team and guarding the best player on the other teams, but it's another thing that teams have to focus on you a lot more than they did last year when you score. It really makes the job easier for the other players around them when the scouting report has to change, saying, hey, this guy can hit a 3 and this guy can get to the basket. So kudos to him for improving his game, and I hope he can continue that through the rest of the year.
Absolutely. Now, coming in tonight, the St. Louis Billikens, one of the bigger names we've seen at the Hynes Center in recent years. Second of a home and home that Coach Pitino was able to schedule with his former player Travis Ford, who played for him at Kentucky. What do you think about the visit to Rochelle of the St. Louis Billikens?
Well, first of all, I am so excited about this contest because I think this is one of the better mid-major contests in all of the country, not just the East Coast, and not just people that are going to tune in on ESPN Plus, but this is a real great contest for both teams to have to stand up and be accounted for. You have some very fine players going head to head. As great as Denise Jenkins has been playing, he gets to meet someone tonight that's going to really test him and really give him an opportunity to put his name in the mix for being one of the better players in the country. And I'm looking forward to seeing that contest. Nelly and others who are familiar with St. Louis know that they're playing against some bigs tonight that can finish. So it's a little bit different than the competition they've had over the last couple of contests. The freshman from Niagara that, is going to be good when he gets some sea legs underneath him. But they're playing a totally different level of competition tonight, and I am very excited for this contest.
Very good. Well, it's going to be an interesting one. We don't usually see a big name like St. Louis, a team that's got a reputation. They were in the RPI, they were 15th in the country. I mean, they're not in the top 35 right at the moment. They've had a couple of losses. They lost to Maryland by 28, and they lost a close one at Auburn. They do have wins over Memphis and Murray State and Providence that stand out. But this is one of the bigger name schools we've seen come in, and it's very hard to get these type of games scheduled.
Well, most teams don't want to come play at Iona for good reasons, and it's been that way a long time. I can remember ever since we beat St. John's back my freshman year at Iona, you haven't seen them venture back on campus. So, most teams are smart enough to know there's a real advantage for the Gaels to play at home in that lovely arena that they're playing in. And then secondly, this is a return trip. I think St. Louis was quite surprised that it took them a buzzer beater to beat the Gaels last year, and they know what they're in for. But it's just really good to see that level of competition coming in, and I hope more teams come in to play the Gaels at home. One other thing I would like to say, don't let St. Louis fool you. They're a top 25 team. The loss against Auburn was a 4-point game with 4 minutes to go in the contest. And then Auburn, did what they did at home. And then the loss at Maryland, Maryland's one of the better teams in the country right now. So there's nothing to be ashamed about there. And St. Louis played a lot of their bench players in the second half of that game because it was a little bit of a runaway. But they are a very good team. And if Iona can stand up to the challenge today, it'll say a lot about where they're headed as well.
Absolutely. One more question at the post game Sunday for Canisius. Steve Masiello filled in for Coach Rick Pitino, and great to see him. And his role, he was sitting next to Coach Pitino on the bench, kind of a bench coach for him now, and doing the post game. What do you see Steve Masiello's contribution to Iona? He's got to be an asset.
Well, no doubt. I mean, an experienced head coach that's, highly regarded as a bench coach, and someone that most people don't know is a very good player development coach as well. If you go to their practice, you'll see him working with some of the key players. So it's a good thing. And the most important thing is, he's one of Coach's former players, and there's a lot of trust there. So another year, for the coach to be able to get some feedback from. And I'm certain that Steve will help the Gaels become a better team as the season goes on.
Yeah, no, it's great to have him at the Hynes Center. And we were all remarking that it's such a change of venue for him in just a few months from his tenure, 11 years as Manhattan coach, and then he's standing behind in front of the Iona logo. Well, Kevin, we will look forward to seeing you at the game tonight, 7 o'clock, Iona versus St. Louis. It's going to be a big night, one of those nights that'll really stand out, a memorable night for everyone at Iona, but also a chance for the team to really show what it can do.
Yeah, I agree, and thank you. I look forward to it as well. And with just one quick note for those Gael fans out there, you notice that some of my former teammates are coming back and watching the Gaels, and I'm excited to have them in the building with me as well to show some continuity for the program to remember the old days as well.
Absolutely, I really enjoyed that remembrance of the 1980 game that you were a big part of, the win over Louisville at Madison Square Garden, which really put Iona basketball on the map, and the get together before one of the games early in the 2020 season.
Yeah, appreciate that. So,
okay. Well, I hope they can do that again soon. And Kevin Hamilton, thank you. Always great to hear your insight about Iona basketball. And we'll see you tonight at the Hynes Center. And then for CaMMVetsMedia, we cover cadets, midshipmen, the military veterans, and Iona basketball proudly since 2008. This is Ken Kraetzer.